We now have a quorum, so we will start the meeting. This is a House Ways and Means Committee meeting. House Bill 374 by Representative Williamson. Vice Chairman, if you'll read the caption.
HB 374, ad valorem tax title fee by dealers that finance used cars and so forth. Representative Bruce Williams.
Public Finance and Policy Committee Chairman Stevens, Subcommittee. Representative Williams, if you will, a brief explanation of what your bill does.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill would simply allow what we call buy here, pay here dealers to split up their under the new title fee bill to be able to pay 50% of the amount of the state and local title fees at the point of sale, and the balance in 12 months.
Questions of the author by any member of the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Representative.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. House Bill 403 by Representative Carter and others. If you read the caption.
HB 403, water and sewer projects, redefine the term and so forth. Representative Amy Carter.
Sales Tax Subcommittee, Chairman Ben Harmon, Representative Carter. You'll explain your bill, please, ma'am, briefly.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 403 gives the City of Valdosta the option to levy a sales tax for water and sewer, similar to the way Atlanta did it. And it's tightly drawn where it only applies to the City of Valdosta, and we would most certainly want this to be an option for the city, because we do have a fantastic restaurant by the name of Cheddar's in the City of Valdosta.
Move to pass, Mr. Chairman.
So, did I understand you said y'all want to do it in Valdosta like they do it in Atlanta?
Well,
Is that what I heard you say?
that was misspoke there. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, House Bill 300. Did you have you read it, Captain? And I'll sign it to everyone. Okay, you may proceed. You may proceed.
Well,
Or have you already proceeded? Any questions of the author? I see none. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. House Bill
300, you move the top copy. That's it.
where's that go?
This is just in that current stack.
Okay. I'm sorry, House Bill 300, Representative Mayo.
HB 300, ad valorem tax definition of fair market value, Representative Mayo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to
Excuse me, Representative, hold up. Ad valorem Subcommittee chaired by Representative Battles. Now you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present House Bill 300, which is designed to create some balance with assessments when we have fair market value determined by the most recent transaction. It sometimes creates a very dislocated value in our homes, and this bill would be gearing would be creating a system whereby we used a 7-year average to determine fair market value so that we had a little bit more stability. And I had a bill last year, and after getting some feedback from members of the committee, I modified that bill in some ways because we learned that it wouldn't be prudent to have tax assessors using their discretion, but we're using a fixed system now in the language we have in House Bill 300, so that it's based on a 7-year average, where you've got many homes around the state falling into depressed home value categories. Cities and counties are struggling with providing services because of the extremely depressed home values, and homeowners are suffering with equity that sometimes doesn't resemble what fair market value is in actuality. And I just ask for fair consideration.
Any questions of the author of the bill? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
House Bill 359 by Representative Nimmer.
HB 359, unclaimed property, Revenue Commissioner, deposit funds, and Treasury, and so forth. Representative Chad Nimmer.
Public Finance and Policy Subcommittee, Chairman Stevens. Representative Nimmer, you may briefly explain your bill, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 359 is working with the Department of Revenue and its commissioner and giving them the ability to put their funds into the general fund, allowing them to then submit a line item that they would need to get out of appropriations back into the Department of Revenue to run and kind of take some of the peaks and valleys out of their cash flow.
Questions of the author? I see none. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
House Bill 360 by Representative Williams.
HB 360, taxation, wages of certain employees responding to natural disasters. Representative Williams.
Income Tax Subcommittee, Chairman Powell. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. 360 is designed for deployed workers in emergency situations that have been properly declared by either the President, Congress, the Governor, or any authorized group. When they are deployed 24 hours or 50 miles away from home, that they be exempted from Georgia state income taxes for that period of time.
Questions of the author by members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
House Bill 370, Representative Braddock.
HB 370, state income tax, eliminate classification of the counties into tiers. Representative Braddock.
Public Finance and Policy, Chairman Stevens. Representative Braddock, you may explain your bill.
Thank you. I have a bill, and it is just to look at eliminating our tier system in Georgia and flattening it so that we can start competing as a state for jobs, because the process we go through currently is, we pluck a few different tiers, and if we don't meet the criteria that they're looking for, then they don't look elsewhere in Georgia. They go to other states. So I want to put something together so we can start competing as a state.
Okay. Questions of the author by any members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
House Bill 371, Representative Harbin.
HB 371, motor fuel tax, define liquefied natural gas by Representative Harbin.
Public Finance and Policy, Chairman Stevens. Representative Harbin. There it is.
Got it? Nope. Okay. It's like yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is very simply just it's taking liquefied natural gas and tying it to diesel, which is where it should be for tax purposes. It's really just clarifying the language, because right now liquefied natural gas and compressed natural gas are both tied to gasoline, and it should not be. Just really just tying taking the liquefied natural gas and putting it with diesel so it'll be taxed properly.
Any questions of the author of the bill by any member of the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Representative Harbin.
Thank you.
House Bill 391, Representative Stevens.
HB 391, ad valorem tax, dealers transmit title applications to county agent and so forth. Representative Ron Stevens.
Public Finance and Policies, chaired by Chairman Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, let's try that one. That one maybe? There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill that's on the heels of the titling bill that just passed out of the House. Is one that allows for buy here, pay here dealers to extend the amount of time for transmitting their title from 10 to 30 days, since this particular clientele's credit rating may not be as good as it should be. And it also allows for the credit if a car is repossessed within 12 months for a credit on that titling fee towards the next sale.
Any questions of the author by members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Chairman Stevens. House Bill 390, Representative Mayo.
HB 390, sales and use tax ceiling on local tax to provide additional exemption by Representative Ron Bale.
Sales tax subcommittee, Representative Mayo, you may explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 390 is an exemption for our county sales tax, and the bill is narrowly drafted to describe DeKalb County. So we're asking that it's allowed that we are able to be exempt from the sales tax ceiling in order to create a SPLOST for transportation. We've got over 400 roads of pavement that need to be resurfaced and considerable number of other capital improvements throughout the county. And this would simply create an exemption to the sales tax cap and allow us to put it on the ballot for the voters to decide on.
Questions of the author by the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Representative
Thank you.
Mayo. House Bill 399 by Representative Knight and others.
HB 399, ad valorem tax interest on real property may be subject to taxation and so forth. Representative David Knight.
Public Finance and Policy, Chairman Stevens. Representative Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill does exactly what it says. It's to clarify which types of interest in real property are subject to ad valorem taxes. We have two that I know of, local governments around our airport that are charging vendors ad valorem taxes for what they call a possessory interest, even though that term is not defined in code, and even though those vendors have no property interest whatsoever. They're simply there up under the city of Atlanta in the airport. This bill seeks to clarify that. It also has a clawback provision such that any taxes that have been determined to be erroneously or illegally assessed can be recovered by the taxpayers. I look forward to presenting this in committee.
Any questions of the author by any member of this committee? Seeing none, thank you. Representative Knight. Okay, that completes our first readers. We will now take up the bill we have before the committee. It's House Bill 210. Representative Nimmer. Please explain your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I bring before you House Bill 210. This is the bill that I had the pleasure to present to you for a first reading just a short time ago. It simply ratifies the executive order that Governor Deal did in 2012 when the gas and fuel prices escalated beyond the 25% threshold of the reevaluation of the tax. Just ratifying the executive order.
Questions of the author of the bill by any member of the committee? Seeing no questions, I'll entertain a motion. Move do pass and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank everybody for your attendance. We are dismissed.